and welcome back to another video. My name is Jake the Genealogist, and in today's video we're going to be going over the very famous Baggins family tree of Hobbiton. Now, before I start this video, I want to mention that I have upgraded my sound quality. I actually got a microphone, a proper one, and now hopefully my videos are going to sound better. A couple other things, make sure you like this video and also subscribe, maybe, consider that, because I am almost at 50 subscribers. I'm currently at 47 as of recording this video, and if you could give me the 50 subscribers, I would be greatly appreciated. Anyways, let's get going with the video. So, I want to start this video by going over this key over here. Now, I got a couple things on this key. The first one is this thing right here, this little element that says 111 on it, and any of these hobbits in this family tree that have this on their little text box thing, you might call it, attended Bilbo Baggins' birthday/farewell party in 1401. Now, these two lines denote the marriage lines and the blood lines. So if you see one of these lines, it's for marriage, and if you see one of these, it's an actual blood relationship passed down for generations. And one other thing is that all these dates in this family tree come from the Shire Reckoning calendar, which is the one that the hobbits use officially. Anyways, let's get into it. So, starting up here with... zoomed in a little bit too much. Starting up here with Bilbo Baggins right here. Now, he was the earliest known member of the Baggins family, and he married Barilla Boffin right over here, and he had 5 children, those being Mungo Baggins, Pansy Baggins, Ponto Baggins, Largo Baggins, and Lily Baggins. And so it's worth noting that Pansy Baggins and Lily Baggins over here both married and had children, but we don't know their names. On all the family trees I saw, it just said various descendants of them, so they're all unnamed, so they don't appear on this family tree. But let's start over here with Mungo Baggins. Now, he married Laura Grubb, and he in turn had 5 children, those being Bungo Baggins, Bilbo Baggins, Longo Baggins, Linda Baggins, and Bingo Baggins, right over there, and they all married and had children. So, let's start with Bungo Baggins. Now, he married Belladonna Took, who is one of the many daughters of the Old Took, one of the most famous hobbits in the J.R.R. Tolkien universe, and they had only one child, that being Bilbo Baggins right here, who you might recognize as the main character in The Hobbit, very famous book, probably J.R.R. Tolkien's crowning work, in my opinion. I like it a little bit better than Lord of the Rings, personally, but you can disagree, obviously. Now, Bungo Baggins was actually the one who built Bag End, which was a residence that Bilbo ended up living at for pretty much his whole life, and he built it in about 1280, just around 10 years before Bilbo was born, and they settled down there, and once Bilbo left the Shire, he left it to his cousin Frodo, and yeah, and so Bilbo, the main character of The Hobbit, I don't need to go into the plot here, but long story short, success happens, he moves back in, and he lives a very long life. By 1401, he's celebrating his 111th birthday, thus why I got this 111 right here, representing his 111th birthday. Now, his death was actually unknown, because once he left the Shire, he kind of just went to live on his own, and his last sighting was in 1421, but we're not sure when exactly he died, because obviously that's just his last sighting, not his official death. But anyways, moving on, to Bungo's sister right here, Belba Baggins. Now, she ended up marrying Rudiger Bolger right here, and they had one son, that being Herigar Bolger. And he married one Jessamine Boffin, and had one son, Odovaker Bolger. He in turn married Rosamunda Took, and he had two children, those being Fredegar, more commonly known as Fatty Bolger, and Estella Bolger, who ended up marrying Meriadoc, more commonly known as Merry Brandybuck, who is one of the very good friends of Frodo Baggins in Lord of the Rings. It's worth mentioning Fatty Bolger right here was one of the few people who actually knew of Frodo having the One Ring. He was one of the few people who were let in on that secret. Moving on to the third child right here, the middle child, Longo Baggins. He married Camelia Sackville, and his son, Otto, or Ofo, I'm not sure how it's pronounced, founded the brand new Sackville Baggins sub-branch of the Baggins family tree. Very infamously known for trying to claim Bilbo, right here's inheritance, as his own. He married Lobelia Bracegirdle, right over here, and they had one child together, that being Lotho Sackville Baggins. Now, he ended up, after Bilbo and Frodo kind of went out of town, he ended up reigning, in air quotes, over the Shire. But by 1419, he was eventually murdered by Grima Wormtongue, one of the accomplices of Saruman, the evil wizard. And thus ends that story. He didn't marry or have any children, so Sackville Baggins is end right there. Moving on to the fourth child of Mungo Baggins right here, Linda Baggins. She ended up marrying Bodo Proudfoot over here, and had one son, that being Odo Proudfoot, right here, known for his very large and hairy feet. Which is not the best thing to be known for, but regardless, he had an unnamed wife, with whom he had Olo Proudfoot, and he also had an unnamed wife and had Sancho Proudfoot right here, best known for breaking into the pantry at Bag End while Bilbo was finalizing his inheritance with Frodo, and they caught him and, needless to say, threw him out of the house. Anyways, moving on to the final child of Mungo, that being Bingo Baggins right here. He married Chica Chubb and had one child, Falco, who started the Chubb Baggins' sub-branch of the Baggins family tree. He had one daughter, Poppy Chubb Baggins, and she married Philibert Bolger, another member of the Bolger family, and thus ends the Chubb Baggins right there. They didn't have any children at all either. Now, moving on to the third child of Balbo Baggins right here, Ponto Baggins. Now, Ponto married Mimosa Bunce, and he had two children, those being Rose Baggins and Polo Baggins right here. Now, Rose married Hildegrim Took, another son of the old Took, that famous Hobbit guy, and they had one child right here, Adalgrim Took. Now, he did end up marrying and having children, but I didn't include them on the chart because that is for another time, because in the future I'm planning to make a Took family tree, a Brandybuck family tree, and maybe even a Gamgee family tree, you never know. Maybe even a Gandalf family tree, who knows. Yeah, I was planning to save that for the future, but for context, he ended up having several descendants, including Merry Brandybuck right here, and Pippin Took, his first cousin right here, and another very close associate of Frodo. But yeah, so then we moved on to Polo Baggins right here. He had two children, those being Posco Baggins and Prisca Baggins. Posco ended up marrying Gilly Brownlock right here. He had three children, those being Ponto Baggins II, who actually became sort of the de facto head of the Baggins family after Frodo left, Porto Baggins, and Peony Baggins. Now, Ponto had one daughter, that being Angelica Baggins, right here, who is best known for being given a mirror by Bilbo during his farewell because of her beauty. Porto never ended up marrying, had no children, and Peony married Milo Burrows and had 4 children, all of whom are pretty much irrelevant. There's nothing really known about them, those being Moscow, Myrtle, and Minto Baggins. Moving on, so Priska did have a couple children with her husband, but they're kind of irrelevant to the story. They don't really mean very much to the story of the Bagginses, so I just decided not to include them on here. Now, on to the 4th child right here, Largo Baggins. Now, he married Tanta Hornblower, and he had 1 child, that being Fosco Baggins right here. He married Ruby Bulger, and he had 3 children, Dora Baggins, Drogo Baggins, and finally Dudo Baggins. Dora never ended up marrying, never had any children, and she lived to a pretty old age. Was even at Bilbo's farewell party, as you can tell. Drogo ended up marrying Primula Brandybuck right here, but tragically, they both died in a drowning accident in 1380 when their only son, Frodo Baggins, was only 12 years old. He was eventually taken in by Bilbo at Bag End. Now, there's another sibling right here, Dudo Baggins. He had an unnamed wife, and with her, he had 1 child, Daisy Baggins, right here, and she married Griffo Boffin and had 1 son, Tosto Boffin. And that about finishes off this family tree. So thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you guys all later. Also, worth mentioning, there will be a PDF to download this family tree in the description if you happen to want it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys all later. Goodbye.